Good morning, everyone. There's such an excitement in the air. Do you all feel good? Yes, good. So today is going to be a rather unconventional service, as if we're ever conventional. I just realized how silly that sounded. Because we have an artist with us today from Canada. Anybody in the audience from Canada? Yes. Whose music has really touched me over the last, I would say, 14 years since I first heard him play. And he's an amazing artist. His lyrics are very provocative and they really speak to me, and I know they will speak to you today. So I wanted to spend today doing what I call words and music, which is listening to the words and understanding the music and letting that propel us into our theme this month, which is identity. So I invite you to take a deep breath. You will not be jumping up and down and screaming at the top of this particular service, but we're going to start with one of his newest songs. So please welcome to the stage Martin Kerr.
Hello. What a treat it is to be here with you. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a few years since I came to visit Reverend James, and he's got a new place since I was last here, and it's beautiful. But it's you folks that make it the most beautiful. So thank you for being here this morning. I want to send this song out to everybody who misses somebody. It's called Reach Out to the Darkness. We've crossed the seas together, breathed the ocean breeze together, watched the moon just wondering whether we would ever go there. Why is it so hard to say the things right in my heart, the way I feel? Now you're so far away, I wish that I could hold your hand. Way back when the sun shone and the waves never ended, we sang out and our voice rang through the caves as we wended our way back to the island and the White House by the bay, where I loved you and we always wanted to stay. If we don't say, then we won't know how we really feel. If we don't cry, then we won't grow. We may never heal. Reach out to the darkness. There's always something real inside. What are we hiding from? Long walks with the spring wind at our backs, when the bluebells were blooming in the forest by the tracks of the wee brown otters who were lazing in the lake over the hill. And I wonder if you're there watching them still. If we don't say, then we won't know how we really feel. If we don't cry, then we won't grow, and we may never heal. Reach out to the darkness. There's always something real inside. What are we hiding from? sorrow we may never heal. Reach out to the darkness, there's always something real inside. What are we hiding from?
You're good. Yes. So I'm going to have a lot of questions for you today, and the first one he just sang, which is, what are we hiding from? This whole month is about identity. This whole month is about coming to terms with who we are inside, taking a look at who we show as ourselves, and then asking the deeper questions, is this really me? Am I really leaning into all that I am and all that I can be? So I'm going to invite up Andrea Arlington to bless our religions. So everybody take a deep breath. One of the things I think that cause us to seem separate is religion. You know, all these different faiths that can make us feel separate from all the other faiths. Why we do this every week is that I want to be reminded every single week that every single person walking this planet is my brother or my sister, is me, is one with everything that is. So that's what we get to do this for. So I invite you to take a deep breath. We light the first candle for the Tao, celebrating the universal path of harmony. The second candle is for the shamanic traditions, the primal spirituality of all indigenous people. Hinduism, celebrating knowledge, action, and devotion. Followed by Judaism, living by sacred law and recognizing that that is the law of cause and effect, the law of love, that what you are equal to comes back to you. And we follow that with all forms of Buddhism, innate wisdom, loving kindness, compassion for all. Followed by Christianity, celebrating the Christ consciousness in all people, understanding that when we stay awake, when we pay attention, we can keep our thoughts where they belong, which is in the highest state of knowing. Followed by Islam, submission to the will of God as the highest calling, understanding that that highest calling is love. We are called to do the very thing that we stand for at this center, to love only, to forgive everything, and to remember at all times who we are. Followed by the Baha'i faith, celebrating unity and peace. Then all forms of new thought, mental healing through universal spiritual principles. And then the final candle, for all that has come before, all that is present now, and all that will be coming in the future. And then Andrea gets to light your personal candle, your light, that thing inside of you that you get to direct wherever you choose to direct it. So I invite you to be intentional here right now and to direct this right where you want it.
So right here and right now, I give thanks, knowing that right where I am, God is. That at the very center of my being, in the sanctuary of my heart and soul, I am that greatness that is God, being expressed, individualized as me. And what I know for me, I know for all who are present here today in this sanctuary, online, and around our beautiful globe. I know that the wisdom, the intelligence, and the love that is present in this service this morning permeates each and every soul that is here, with us today, and that it transcends us as individuals and touches the hearts and lives of those who know not that we are even here together, gathered in this truth, in this wisdom. I give thanks for this amazing morning, this sanctuary, this beautiful music, the practitioners, and all those who are gathered here today. For Dr. James Mellon, for his wisdom, for his leadership, for his guidance, for helping us all touch the truth within us. As together we say, thank you, God, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Andrea. So, the first time I heard Martin Kerr sing was, I believe, at one of the Asilomar conferences. I think, perhaps, maybe not. I don't remember. But I remember the song. And I always feel bad because whenever he comes to sing for us, I always ask him to sing this song. Every time I ask him to sing this song. So it will lead us off in our journey today. So, Barbara? Oh, but the title of your song is not up on this slide. No, just the hook. So you'll tell them the title.
Sure. This song's called Undiscovered Geniuses. And because to me, real artistry is it's not about seeking fame or recognition. It's about seeking beauty and truth, not only in our craft and in the world around us, but in every soul that we meet, recognizing that divine spark. So I hope this song connects with you. This one's for the undiscovered geniuses. Or is it genii I never knew? Who write and paint and chisel in their bedrooms, known forever by the last name. Who? I know you're out there, I know you're in there, but common knowledge doesn't know the jewels below. You never had a hit song on the airwaves, never broke out from the local scene. You didn't paste your walls with famous faces, and you preferred the window to the TV screen. I know you're out there, I know you're in there, but common knowledge doesn't know the jewels below. I know you're out there, I know you're in there, dancing with your hopes and fears instead of chasing zeros. Don't jump before the cameras. The wisest ones might hardly ever speak. And every time we send a perfect teacher, we miss them 'cause we overlook the meek. I know you're out there, I know you're in there, but common knowledge doesn't know the jewels below. I know you're out there, I know you're in there, harmonizing heart and hand, making stained glass from sand. So this one's for the folks who know they're precious, but no more precious than the garbage man. I kiss you on your cheek, not on a poster, 'cause genius wants a lover, not a fan. I know you're out there, I know you're in there, but knowledge doesn't know the jewels below. I know you're out there, I know you're in there, harmonizing hearts and hand, making mirrors from sand. I know you're out there, I know you're in there, but cover stories can't uncover the true lover.
I remember the last time I cried. No. I remember the last time I spoke to this song, and of course I could do I have done many talks to that particular song. But this time I'm going to go to something different. First of all of your lyrics they touch me so deeply. You know, I think about that one line. Look, I'm going to leave what I said I was going to do. The beautiful don't jump before the cameras. What an amazing line. I do. But as I'm listening to it, I'm like, I should not do that. Really, I'm like, wow. So, every one of you, Martin is a Baha'i, correct? That is his faith. And I remember when he first said he was a Baha'i, I had never heard of a Baha'i. I didn't know what that was, a Baha'i. And since then, I've met many Baha'i. Actually, what was funny was when you told me that, I mentioned it one night during our acting company open at the top, all members of my church, and they were like, 3 people went, yeah, I'm a Baha'i too. I was like, they don't speak up. They don't tell. So, you know, that's why I just love where you come from. You come from such a selfless place, and coming from such a selfless place allows you to open up to so much richness. This lyric, common knowledge doesn't know the jewels below. When we're looking at this month on identity, one of the things I suggested was that we get out of the way of what we think we know. And that's what that lyric is all about. Common knowledge. All the things you think you know about you, about life, about the way things work, when we can extrapolate them, get them all out of the way, then we have the possibility of tapping into what's there, the jewels below. That's the journey we have this month. You know, this idea of, I know nothing, now what can I know? It's when we work so hard to think we know, and we want to put everything in boxes. Do you ever feel that way? Do you ever feel, how many people here ever felt that they were put into a box? You know what a big box is? Minister. I tell people I'm a minister, or someone says I'm a minister, and people are like, hi. They do bow, but they back up. Because God forbid they should say something out of line. They don't know me. Right? Because I don't believe that. Minister means nothing other than the fact that I chose to do this with my life. I love the line in the end of the song about no more greater than a garbage man. You know, isn't that, you hear that and you're just like, yes, that's the truth. So Father Richard Rohr, how many people are on his meditation list? He sends out those meditations. He said this, he said, when we reach the end of what we know, that's where we find God. When we reach the end of what we know, that's where we find God. Now, you know, I believe God is right here, fully present in and as and through me, in and as and through every single person in this room and on the planet. We got a discussion this week about, but is God in the rock? I'm like, well, it's here. God is everywhere, ever present, everything. So it has to be, the rock has to be that which is God. All of it. Can you imagine what the world would be like if we walked around understanding everything was sacred? It would be a very different world. So our affirmation this month, our theme is identity. You know, and I so love that Barbara did this with the red sneakers. I just wished your sneakers had been red. every single one of us here gets to put on those red sneakers. And all that represents is the idea that at any moment you can trash whatever you think you know about yourself and step into whatever you desire. Because as the energy of God, as the creative essence of God, we have at our fingertips the possibility, the capability, and indeed the responsibility to be whatever we choose to be. And sometimes it's important to be what's needed in the moment. Sometimes it's important to jump in front of the camera, I suppose. And sometimes it's important to get behind it and aim it and bring forth what needs to be seen and known. Our affirmation this month, and if you would say it with me, let's just all say it together. I know who I am, and I live from that truth. One more time. I know who I am, and I live from that truth. So this next song that Martin is going to sing, it's called The Update. And I don't want to give too much away. You can come on up, Martin. It's called, don't show it yet, Barbara. It's called The Update. And, well, I'm not going to say much about it until he's done. But I do want to ask you one thing, since you're here.
Okay.
So what do the Baha'is believe? What is your, philosophy?
How long have you got?
Give me a little short kernel, is it, we say peace and love.
The watchword of the Baha'i faith is unity in diversity. That this is the time in human history where humanity finally has the potential and the capability to come together as one family in all of its glorious diversity and to build the kingdom of heaven on earth.
It's yours.
Which sounds very nice, but sometimes it's easy to get distracted by all the little bleeps and buzzes and in our pockets and out there in the world that keep us distracted. Sometimes those big dreams we had for an incredible life and an incredible contribution to the progress of humanity. I think many of us were quite idealistic in our teens and 20s, eh? I'm the grand old age of 36 now. And it feels like, as we keep putting children out into the world, that some of those big plans get put on the back burner for a while as the Lego piles up in the corner. And so this is a song about not letting go of those big dreams, even when they seem to be fading away. Computer wants to update a program. I always click on try again tomorrow, 'cause that's not what I need. The garden wants a weeding, the summer's almost over. I haven't got around to planting the seeds. What have I been waiting for all this time? And what am I complaining for? The fault's on mine. I could cross that bridge if someone else would pay the toll. But won't somebody send an update to my soul? My phone, it wants to update the system, but I don't really trust it. It usually ends up slower than before. The politicians never stop campaigning. One day we're gonna bust them. We're capable of so much more. What have I been waiting for all this time? What am I complaining for? The fault's on mine. I'm sitting here just waiting for my youth to come again. I'll stop procrastinating, but don't ask me when. I could cross that bridge if someone else would pay the toll. But won't somebody send an update to my soul? I wanna feel you love me more than ever. I know I don't deserve it. I'm not the man I was back then. Skinnier and brighter and more hopeful. Is that the way you want me? not sure if I can be that again. What have I been waiting for all this time? What am I complaining for? The fault's on mine. I'm sitting here just waiting for my youth to come again. I'll stop procrastinating, but don't ask me when. I could cross that bridge if someone else would pay the toll. But won't somebody send an update to my soul? Should you ever lose your sense of wonder, walk out to the ocean and sing out to the stars on high. And all the generations gone before you will hear you from the heavens. They'd help you if you'd only try. What have we been waiting for all these hours? What are we complaining for? The remedy's ours. We're sitting here just waiting for our youth to come again. We'll stop procrastinating, we can't choose just when. We can cross that bridge, and only we can pay the toll. And only I can make an update to my soul. Only I can make an update to my soul.
I just don't know that I've cried this much.
Since yesterday.
Since yesterday. Since I put this together. So, you know, the lyrics to this song, this is one of your new songs, right, on your new album? Your new CD. You're really only 36? Wow. You said that and I was like, I just assumed everybody's my age. Wow, wasn't that funny? Okay. So, the lyric that struck me most in this particular song is, what have I been waiting for all this time? You know, there's so many lyrics here, but I'm going to start with that one. What have I been waiting for all this time? You know, he talks about waiting, procrastinating, you know, trying to get back our youth. All of these ideas, and the update's a big idea too, but the first question, what have I been waiting for? As you're sitting here, just ask yourself, are there things that you are waiting for? Are there things that you're still expecting to happen in your life, and you're waiting for them to happen? Because you know, in our teaching, in our science, we don't wait. We do. We create. We're not here to wait for the gods above us to bring something into our life. We have the capability to be equal to whatever it is we say we wish to experience. So the idea, what have I been waiting for all this time, really says we don't understand life. We don't understand who we are. We don't understand our identity. We don't get it. That right where I am, God is, the full unity of the universe, the full creative essence of the universe is right here, and I am capable of using that to create the life I want. He says, what am I complaining for? The fault's all mine. Now, you know, as religious scientists, you know, fault gets thrown around a lot. If someone really doesn't understand the teaching, they think that what we teach is, it's my fault that my life is this way. And while that's true, that it is my fault, I just would never use that word fault. It is my doing. It's my responsibility. But the great thing about this teaching is, while someone could say it's your fault, what I say is, no, I now have the understanding to change it. to do what I say I want to do, to create what I want to create out of my life. I don't have to wait. I don't have to wait, and I don't have to complain. Complaining, in mental muscle, we start with no complaining. It's the second week of 16 weeks. And there's a reason for that, because then you have to keep it up for the rest of the 16 weeks. And it's very interesting to find out how much we complain about. How many people here have heard themselves, even this week, once complain? Even Martin, who wrote the lyric. Right? So we do. We complain when it would be so much better to just understand. Because complaining is one of those things that occupies our time and makes us feel like we're doing something. I grew up in an Irish Catholic family who basically said, if you're not complaining, you're not doing something about that problem. Because that's what we knew to do. Complain about it to every single person who came along. And then tell it again and tell it again. And nothing's getting done. You're getting more and more angry as you complain, right? So what have I been complaining for? The fault's all mine. The responsibility's all mine.
It wouldn't fit in the line. That's why I used it.
What have I been complaining for? The responsibility's all mine. I see you, yes. I'm sitting here just waiting for my youth to come again. How many of you are doing that? Thank you. One hand went up. Oh, 2 hands went up. Okay. So 3 hands went up. They're coming up. 4, 5, 6, and we're all doing it, right? But you know what? I don't want to be that age again. I don't. I didn't know what I know now. You know that saying, I wish I knew then what I know now. I really do. I wish I grew up in this teaching. I wish someone had told me at a very early age that I could create whatever life I wanted to create by keeping my mind clear. Because I didn't. And I had so many opportunities, and I succeeded on so many levels, but the success was never what I wanted it to be. It never made me happy. You know, I would get to the pinnacle of starring in a Broadway show, and I didn't like it. I probably had more sick days than any guy on Broadway that year because I liked staying home instead. I didn't enjoy it. It took me years after that to start enjoying the very thing I did that I was successful at but wasn't enjoying, because then it became about what I was expressing, not about what I was achieving. And I have spent the rest of my life really focused on staying on this side of expression and away from that side of achievement. Even now, as I'm in the middle of something that I so can taste doing, I am working every day to stay on the side of expression and not achievement. Because every time I go for the achievement, it is just filled with stress and hostility in my own body. But when I come from expression, I'm having a great time. I'll stop procrastinating, but don't ask me when. How many procrastinators are here? And the rest of you just didn't take time yet to raise your hand. Yeah. So I love this line. I'll stop procrastinating, just don't ask me when. It speaks for itself. I could cross that bridge if someone else would pay the toll. How many times do we think it's up to someone else to do it for us? How many people have held themselves back because they're annoyed that it wasn't given to them, that someone didn't do it for them? Think of that irony. I can't move forward because you won't do this. Every time you hear yourself say, I can't because you are off principle. Because you can, and you need no one. You just need, right in the heart of you, who you are, and that is God. You know, every religion works from this premise. Works from this premise that with God all things are possible. With God all things are possible. Now I may say as God, recognizing that God is everyone and everything, but all things are possible follows whatever way you would express God. So I love at the end of the song, he goes to a very mellow place of, should you ever lose your sense of wonder, walk out to the ocean and sing out to the stars on high. And all the generations gone before you will hear you from the heavens and help you if you'd only try. There's the most beautiful lyrics that express oneness. All the generations, every person that's ever lived, is living, will live. And I'm not just talking about earth. Who knows what's out there? I know you're out there, and I know you're in here. So this understanding that it's all one thing. We say this all the time. If you ever get stuck, I had a counseling session this week, and this person was telling me all the ways that they are stuck. And, in spiritual counseling, you listen. But you never listen from an empathetic ear. Because, frankly, I don't want to be where you are. And you don't want me to be where you are because you want me to actually tell you the truth. So I can stay very centered and clear. And I'm listening to all the ways this person is stuck. And I hear in my head and I say, you just need to step outside. You need to go for a walk. You need to go to the ocean. Go somewhere where you can't hear all of your problems. Because right now, you are identifying as the problems. There's your identity. How many of us identify ourselves based on what's going on in our world? I'm unemployed. That's who I am. I'm an unemployed person. I'm not in a relationship, or my marriage just ended. There I am. I'm a divorced person. I failed. Divorce is not failure. Divorce is an ending to give you the opportunity to a new beginning. We have to re-understand all of these things that have been taught to us in a way that perhaps keeps us blocked, keeps us boxed in. And then his last line in this song, well, not the last line, but the thing that really gets me, only I can make an update to my soul. So, when I teach the science of mind, and many of you have been in my classes and are currently, we talk about the creative process that we get to create. Conscious mind thinks, and the law takes what we're thinking and brings it out as our experience. It's called the mental equivalent. What I am equal to shows up in my experience. But what we often forget to teach is that back of all of it is Emerson's oversoul, is the truth, is God, is the pure creativity that never needs to be touched, changed, cannot do anything wrong. Well, that's who and what I am. How I use it is what creates my life. So, in fact, when he says this line, only I can do an update to my soul, to me what he's saying is, only I can back myself up far enough to remember the truth and then operate from there. Fire off from all cylinders from here. Not out here where are the problems and the things that when we identify with them, we suddenly become them, and now we're stuck. That's how we get stuck. How we get unstuck is we back it up. I like to go to the ocean, back it up, and remember we're this. We're that, we're the twirling thing. Ernest Holmes said this, the human state of life is really the divine and will ever evolve into newer and better states of conscious being. So the human state is the divine state, and it is always evolving. You are evolving. You may think you're stuck. You are not stuck. You are realizing stuck. You are experiencing being stuck. You're not stuck. You can't stay stuck. You cannot be stuck. You cannot be slowed down. You can't, because God cannot be stopped. God's the evolution of God, the expression of God, the expansion of God cannot be stopped. So neither can you. You can get in its way. It'll go around you, but it'll keep going. And eventually, it will drag you along with it. My invitation to you and to myself is to let it take you. Let it take you. Let go of all of your weights. How many of you are carrying weights around of guilt, of anger, of the past, of unforgiveness? That's heavy. That is heavy stuff to have to carry around. When we're willing to let go of all of that, now we can go along with the flow. So, the story of your life only shows you what you've done so far with who you are. Let me say it again. The story of your life only shows you what you've done so far with who you are. You don't like it? Tell a better story. Start understanding who you are in such a way that sky's the limit. You can do, be, have whatever you want. Who you are gives you permission to be whatever you choose to be. So in the final analysis of this particular song that really stuck to me, it's so funny because I listened to all of Martin's songs as I was looking to see which ones, and when I heard this one, I was like, that's the one that really sticks with me in terms of what this message is of identity. Update. Do the update. Plug it in. Plug it in and let it do what it does. How many of you, in doing updates to your computer, plug it in and then micromanage it? You can't. I've tried. I've screwed up so many updates in my computer by trying to change things as it's going. It's, you know, and I one day it's just going to, as you try to do it, it's going to say, please stop. You are not required for this update. Well, here's the truth. You are not required for the spiritual update of your soul. What you are required to do is give it over. Turn it over. Plug in to the truth and then let the truth do what it does. So this month, as you keep going through the month, I really want you to give some thought to all that's being said here today and all that will continue to be said here. Let yourself be free of the confines and the boxes and the paradigms you've created as you. Let yourself think again about who you are, what you're here to do. You may just be here, I love this lyric, you may just be here to sit in the window instead of watching Netflix for 10 hours. I've been guilty. You may be here to express all that God is. And watch what happens when you do that. I honestly think that we are in the middle of a spiritual update. I think that this entire planet is in the middle of a spiritual update. Very often, in order for something to grow, it has to be burned down. I think we're burning down a lot of stuff, and it's uncomfortable. And there's a lot of anger, and there's a lot of this side and that side. And I think it's time to start recognizing this as the spiritual update it is. It just needs to do what it does so that we can come out the other side remembering who we are. Namaste. Thank you.